All right, Shalom. This is Yaquab with the GMS Dallas camp, and I have here the brother Sha'ar.
Shalom.
All right, first off, we want to give all praises to Yahawah, Bahashim, Yahawashi, Bahashim, Rukat Wadash. All right, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who teach and rule well, and salutations to the Akim scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, keeping his word in truth and sincerity. Now, me and the brother Sha'ar just want to, we were talking today, about certain things, and we want to go into a quick topic, concerning chastisement. Because we all know that when it comes to us going through hell in this world, it's pretty much the Most High, chastising us, pretty much putting us in a situation to see how we're going to react, okay? Because, like it says in Hebrews, the 12th chapter, we'll get that later, the Most High deals, chastises whom he loves, going into his elect, okay? Lord willing, we are part of that number. Now, if you want to get that in Judith chapter 8, just to give an example of what our forefathers went, just a couple examples of what our forefathers went through, and pretty much something to think about, okay?
I'm going to start at verse 24. This is Judith chapter 8, verse 24. And it says, "Now therefore, O brethren, let us show an example to our brethren, because their hearts depend on us in the sanctuary, in the house, in the altar to rest upon us. Moreover, let us give thanks to Yahawah, our power, which trieth us, even as it did our fathers."
Right, Khan, Khan, the water. Yeah, like it says, let us shew you an example, in which, the Lord of our power, which tried us, even as he did our fathers, man. Because, because, hey, this, we all know that this, the Most High dealing with us in these manners ain't nothing new. He dealt with our forefathers like this, They went through hell, they caught hell, and they understood why.
Right.
They understood that the Most High is dealing with them and putting them in these situations to, like it says in Wisdom of Solomon, the 3rd chapter, like fire is tried in the gold, roughly paraphrasing, it's for those reasons, Go ahead.
Khan, if I may land back off you as well. And it's very important to really go into these examples. I mean, not saying we necessarily need an example in order to be right, but all these things are written for a reason. All right, you read it in Romans the 15th chapter. It says all things are written aforetime, written for our learning. Okay, so, and again, when I made the statement saying we don't really need examples, that was poor choice of wording, because these examples are written here for a reason. Okay, you have these examples here in the scriptures to show us that there were actually men that went through the same experiences that we're going through. And a lot of them went through worse experiences that we're going through currently at this time. But when you look at the integrity that had taken place, and the fact that they were willing to continue to serve the Lord through the things that we were going to, is more so motivation unto us to keep us pushing. To see that those men that we read about, that we read about, went through the same thing, and this is actually true accounts in history. When you feel like you might be down and out, trodden under, going through hell, you always have these scriptures to look up to for comfort, but also to as that reminder to show that it could be a lot worse. So we have examples that were written here within history to show us. And it's ultimately, it does comfort us. All right? Because we know that through the things that we're going through right now, whether it be here or whether it be here, you have men that went through it all. Whether it's here or here, depending on whatever you can bear it, you had those accounts to actually go to. Whether it was men that were put to death, whether it was men that just were tried and suffered tribulation on certain smaller occasions. The examples here in the scriptures, all right? And these are things that we read so we can be able to endure, so we can be able to call unto the Lord. And when you pray unto Yahawashi, it's always good to throw to him those reminders in those accounts that were based on in the histories. Reason why I say that, so you can look back upon it yourself, like, okay, he answered those men's prayer when they was going through it, he'll answer mine as well. They help us at the end of the day. That's why it's written. It was written for our learning, for our understanding, and it helps support us when we're in times of tribulation. Okay, but I'm going to continue reading. This is Judith chapter 8, verse 26. It says, "Remember what things he did to Abraham, and how he tried Isaac, and what happened to Jacob in Mesopotamia of Syria, when he kept the sheep of Laban, his mother's brother."
Right. Now, when you look into those examples, you know what I'm saying, you had Abraham, which the Most High pretty much told him, you know, pretty much was testing him. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you pretty much, like, are you willing to sacrifice your son for me? You know what I'm saying? And he put him through that tribulation, you know what I'm saying? Because if you imagine yourself, you know, Most High deal, you know, he talking to you and be like, man, okay, I need you to sacrifice your son. You know what I'm saying? Like, in your mind, you know, you just got to imagine what Abraham was thinking. You know what I'm saying? It's like, damn, like, my son, okay, Khan, is for the Lord, all right. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's something that would really stir some people up. You know what I'm saying? Something that would you know, really make them think, like, damn, like, but hey, Abraham, he, you know, he stood fast and he did what the Most High told him. You know what I'm saying? Even though it was, you know, you got to think about that's his son, so, you know, might have affected him in an emotional way. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, because that's a very heavier point from what you're going into. That's a heavier point of what we all have to go through every day. Okay, for example, you got to give up your family. You know what I'm saying? When I say give up your family, the scriptures say if you choose your mother, your father, your son, your daughter over me, you are not fit for the kingdom of heaven. You know? So we look at our daily experiences right now. A lot of Jake got family demons on them. You know, they can't really let go of that. But the thing is, YAHAWASHI is asking the question, who are you going to choose? Me or them? Because you got more fold coming in if you endure. So that was an extreme test for Abraham. You know, because Abraham wasn't just told to leave Sarah and leave Isaac behind. No, he was told to sacrifice Isaac as a trial of his faith. Now, that's a big deal right there, man. And you think about it to yourself, would you really be able to do that? Of course, we can't really just say yes or no. All we can say is, Lord willing, that's the case. But the thing about it is, Abraham actually experienced that firsthand. And when you look at what he had done and how he kept his integrity, he was willing to slay Isaac for the sake of the Lord. Literally slay his son. Sacrifice his son for the Lord. That's a big deal, man. And can't none of us just say right off the muscle, yeah, I'll do that. Now, Lord willing, we don't know. But Abraham went through that. Abraham actually experienced it. You know? Now, that's a trial, excuse my French, but that's a trial for your ass.
Man.
You know, that ain't just no lightweight, willy-nilly thing. When we was in church, we had read about the story. Yeah, Abraham had to almost sacrifice his son. I don't have any children. So I can't really say how I would feel to myself. But I can only think to myself, like, wow, that's a very big deal. And it takes a man with a very immense amount of faith to be able to do that. And he's looking for men. The Lord is looking for men that's willing to go through it. So we got our certain situations that we go through in the world. When I say in the world, I'm talking about things that we encounter in the world. We can't really think of these things. But our true trial is going to come soon. But the Lord, Yahawah, he puts us through these littler trials day by day to build us up. So when that time does come, we will be able to hold our integrity, like these examples that we're reading about. You got it, right?
Khan, you right. That's right. You know what I'm saying? And since you said that, I'm going to get that in Wisdom of Solomon real quick.
Okay, come.
Let's see. So I can pull it up real quick. All right, this is Wisdom of Solomon. Okay. Damn.
Check it out.
Khan. Damn. Okay. Okay, Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 3, verse 4. It says, "For though they be punished in the sight of men, yet is their hope full of immortality. And having been a little chastised, they shall be greatly rewarded. For the Most High proved them and found them worthy for himself." You know what I'm saying? And that makes me think of, 2 Maccabees, the 7th chapter. You know what I'm saying? With the sons. You know what I'm saying? They went through horrible judgment or chastisement. You know what I'm saying? They literally burned and were cut up. You know what I'm saying? And they stood fast for the Most High. You know what I'm saying? They still kept their faith.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? And that goes back and this and that and those these things go back to what we were reading in Judith. If you can continue on that real quick.
Mind if I bring up a quick one real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Just land backing off of the precept you brought out. This is the book of Ephesians, chapter 3, verse 13. And it says, "Wherefore I desire that ye faint not at my tribulation for you, which is your glory." So that just goes into it. Like you would read in Wisdom of Solomon, you know, we going through, I mean, the scriptures say small things. Because the things that we're going through, whether it's your rent, whether it's your car bill, whether it's your baby mama, whether it's your children, whatever the case is, you can't really equate that to being fried in a pan and getting your tongue cut out and witnessing your brethren get killed. All right? I mean, we understand Esau is going to come like a flood, and there's going to be certain of our brethren that are going to die as martyrs. Okay? But the scriptures still consider that being small tribulation. All right? Because we can't equate a small amount of time, meaning that time that you might be suffering, to eternity. Okay? Can't really equate it to it at all, period. Eternity, I'm putting it like this, 1,000 years of tribulation is small compared to eternity. You know, so when we go through these things and the small things we're going through right now, we can't really say nothing about it. But the stuff that we are going through right now and the stuff that's to come, we're going through it so we will be able to be glorified rightfully when that day comes. Because YAHAWASHI, after he was slain, he sat on the right-hand side of the Heavenly Father. And the same is going to follow within his elect. All right, he considers his elect being joint heirs unto him when you read it in Romans, the 8th chapter. Okay, so as much as we can say in our minds we catching hell, going through these things, man, we have to constantly remind ourselves and constantly read within these scriptures and look at the examples, but also think about the coming glory that's to come, the pending glory that's to come. Eternity, immortality, because that's what was spoken of in Wisdom of Solomon 3. That glory is synonymous for immortality and rulership in the kingdom, not being able to feel no pain. But we got to go through this short period of time first while we catching hell, man. All right, the carnal L's that you take, and Lord willing later on, that's going to be another lesson for another day. But the carnal L's that you take can't equate to the spiritual wins that you get during those carnal losses. All right, every loss that we take within the flesh is counted as a win in the spirit, depending on how we take the loss. If we take the loss and look at it as a win spiritually, you're winning. Goes into dying daily in the flesh, as Colossians states. All right, but if you look at the things that you go through, the things that, oh man, I don't know what I'm going to do, and start giving Satan hella glory, it's like, come on, man, you starting to recognize Satan more than the Lord. We understand there's times we catch hell and be like, man, Satan being a hoe. You know, it's true. But you can't let that block you and blind you off from the bigger picture. The man that YAHAWASHI is creating through our tribulation. Look at the men of old that we're reading about. They went through it, and now they have names that are written in heaven. They got names that are written in the book of life. All right? They're known as famous great men when you read about it in Sirach. All right, and also other scriptures. And that goes back to what we're reading here in Judith, the 8th chapter. Just wanted to bring that point out, brother.
Gone, yeah, the water. Yeah, that's right. You know what I'm saying? Because, did you finish verse 26 in that?
I'll read it again for you.
Okay, gone.
This is Judith, chapter 8, verse 26. Remember what things he did to Abraham and how he tried Isaac and what happened to Jacob in Mesopotamia of Syria when he kept the sheep of Laban, his mother's brother.
Right, you know what I'm saying? So we already talked about the example with Abraham and Isaac, and then he gives you another example with Jacob and Laban. You know what I'm saying? How pretty much Laban was like, man, you can have my daughter. It would be better for you to have my daughter than somebody else. And, you know, he pretty much wanted, Jacob wanted Rachel. You know what I'm saying? So he had served them 7 years. And then if you read Genesis 29, it tells you that, you know, Jacob was beguiled by Laban. You know what I'm saying? Because Laban, at the end of the 7 years, Laban was like, man, what did he say? He said, you know, it's not custom for me to give you my oldest first, then my younger.
It's not custom for him to give the youngest first before the older.
Okay, Khan, yeah.
They're the children first.
Khan, yeah, that the water, yeah, you know what I'm saying. So pretty much he gave him Leia, and then he had to serve another 7 years to get Rachel, to get what he wanted. You know what I'm saying.
God,
So you just think about that, man. 14 years of serving, your what was he? His mother's brother.
yeah, yo, yeah, yep,
You know what I'm saying? 14 years just to get some, just get the woman that you wanted. You know what I'm saying? He had to do what, he was a servant, right? Servant.
yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, Khan,
Yep.
you know what I'm saying, Joe? So just imagine that, you know what I'm saying? That's just, that's why I gave you that example. You know what I'm saying? You serving somebody 14 years just to get the woman that you want. You know what I'm saying?
God, right. Yeah, that's pretty whack. And then, to top it off, you think you got her. And you getting ready to lay with her, and the lights are turned off, and you getting ready to get down, and you end up waking up in the morning and find out it's the wrong woman. You're like, man, what the hell, man? Can you really imagine that?
Damn.
Can you imagine that? This is a woman, like, for example, man. I'm trying to think about the baddest chick that we've seen, man. A bad chick that, to the audience, women that you long for, that you might have seen in high school, that you really dig, different crushes, and you like, I want her. Woman that you be claiming like claim. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We all claim certain women when we watching TV or whatever the case is. And you work for 7 years and the lights are off and you excited. You about to get down up in that. And you getting up in it and you wake up and it's Hilda. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't want to dog Leia, because that's our mother at the end of the day. But I'm just using that as an example. It ain't the woman that you wanted. You be pissed off. But what did Jacob do? Did Jacob, what you do, man? Beat him up? No. He ended up enduring it and suffered for righteousness' sake and worked 7 more years to get the woman that he wanted. Man. You know?
Khan.
This is just what it is. We go through hell, we catch affliction, we catch tribulation. We got to understand the bigger picture that's at the end of it, man. The kingdom of heaven is way more, what's the word I'm looking for? Way more desirous to us than any woman, man. So Jacob served 14 years just for a woman, and he did it. So how much more do we have to apply this for the truth and for the kingdom of heaven? We should be willing, every single last one of us should be willing to strive for eternity, man. Easier said than done. I'm only 4 or 5 years in this truth. Lord, we endure. Same thing with you, But if we continue to pray and keep our integrity, we're going to be able to do it. Now, hopefully it don't take 100,000 years for the kingdom of heaven. But we supposed to have in our mindsets, it is what it is. To serve the Lord and keep the patience and fight and suffer tribulation. Because ultimately, we're undeserving of his mercy. And he has still chosen to give that to us. And that's enough. That should be enough for us right now.
Khan. Yeah.
Did you want that verse 27 is the key point.
Yeah, Khan, verse 27.
It says, for he hath not tried us in the fire as he did them, for the examination of their hearts, neither have he taken vengeance on us, but Yahawah doeth scourge them that come near unto him to admonish them.
Yeah, man. So the Most High hadn't tried us in the fire as he did them. You know what I'm saying? Because everything we going through, like the brother Sha'ar had mentioned, is like little tribulations. You know what I'm saying? We ain't really been tried like our forefathers been tried. You know what I'm saying? Just think about all the things that they went through. I'm saying, give an example like Daniel when he was thrown into the lion's den. Imagine being thrown into a den full of lions, or what Job went through, or what Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego went through. You know what I'm saying? Before, imagine what they were thinking before they were about to be thrown into that furnace. You know what I'm saying? All these examples. You know what I'm saying? That's why the scriptures talk about to remember Job. It's there so we. For us to remember these things, on what our forefathers went through, to learn and to be thankful that we not in those Most High is not putting us in those situations. You got a precept?
I do. This is the book of Hebrews chapter 11, verse 36. And it says, others, going into our forefathers, others had trials of cruel mockings and scourgings, yea, moreover, of bonds and imprisonment, and they were stoned, they were sawn asunder, were tempted, were slain with the sword. They wandered about in sheepskins, in goatskins, being destitute, afflicted, tormented, of whom the world was not worthy. They wandered in deserts and in mountains and in dens and in caves of the earth, and these all having obtained a good report through faith, received not the promise. So these men went through that back then and still didn't receive the promise back then. The promise was still afar off. Still.
Man.
And they still went through it knowing what was to come at the other end of it, man. And they went through far worse things than we had experienced. We talking about Jacob. We went all the way back to Abraham and Isaac. Bruh, this is 1,900 years ago. Salakia. This is 1,900 years before Yahawashi. That's what I meant to say. So this is 3,900, 4,000 years ago, man. And they did that and knew what they were going to obtain at the end of the day. And they still went through it. And we understand Isaac, all right, because just as Abraham was tempted when he was put to slay Isaac too, because Isaac was Yahawashi. And ultimately, he was getting ready to be slain by his father. So can you imagine, like, for example, let's think about it like this. Your father is getting ready to kill you, and you a child. How would you feel after that, man?
Man.
Next day, the father like, give me a hug, son, I love you. You gonna be like, oh, I love you too. You're gonna be scared as hell, man. And you gotta live with that the rest of your life, with that constant thought in your head, like, is he gonna kill me? Did the Lord tell him to kill me? You know? But Isaac didn't conduct himself as such because he understood, you know? So these men had went through things in the past, knowing the promise that was to come, and it was afar off. Even Enoch prophesied about Yahawashi. So since Enoch prophesied about Yahawashi, you don't think Enoch didn't go through those scourgings and all the stuff that we're reading about right here? No, Enoch received glory. He was translated in a chariot. So Enoch was catching hell. Enoch just didn't prophesy he just prophesied and it was just easy and all of a sudden he ascended up. No, man. We read in Ephesians, the 3rd chapter, going into how we receive glory through our tribulation. Enoch was glorified back then. So he had to go through it. These men had to go through it. We ain't suffered under blood yet. And that's in Hebrews 12. We ain't suffered under blood yet, like we're reading about right here, man. So we really, I don't want to put it as we don't have nothing to complain about, because we don't. Because of course, being down here, you're going to have certain things you want to complain about, because we still catching hell. Even in 2nd Ezra, the 8th chapter, it talks about the souls of the righteous complain continually unto the Lord. But we don't want to get to the point where it overwhelms us, to the point where that's all we're talking about. Because it can come to the point when you are being ungrateful, when you ain't considering what the ancient men had went through, and how they took it as men, and had their loins girt, coming into the situation. It says somebody was sawn asunder when you read this here in Hebrews 11, and that's Isaiah. Isaiah was cut in half. Come on, man. Can't even imagine how that is, bro. And these men didn't even see the promise. They seen the promise, but they knew it wasn't going to come in their lifetime. We believe there's a strong possibility that it's going to come in our lifetime. So how are we supposed to conduct ourselves? Well, it's right here at the door, knocking. It was way back there with those guys. Just something to consider. You got it, Doc.
Don, yeah, you're right. That's why when you read that part that says, for the examination of their minds, you know what I'm saying? You know, so he did, you know, this to examine their minds because, we get, tried to see what we're going to do under that pressure. You know what I mean?
God.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so we go through these things like we read in Wisdom Psalm, the 3rd chapter, and then like how the brother mentioned Hebrews, the 12th chapter, you know what I'm saying? The Most High is dealing with us and putting us in the situations to see how our minds are going to react and how we going to, what our actions are going to be like under those situations.
God, I got a precept, another one.
Don, go ahead.
Write what you said, because it's for to examine us. This is Deuteronomy chapter 8. I'll start at the top. It's just 1 and 2. It says, all the commandments which I have commanded thee this day shall ye observe to do, that ye may live and multiply and go in, and possess the land which the Lord sware unto your fathers, Now we understand that this is talking about in the ancient world when we were traveling in the wilderness for those 40 years. And we had a destination that we were set to go to after that. All right? Just like we look at it today. All right? You liken this system where we're living at it right now, liken it to the wilderness. Okay? And there's a set destination that's at hand, and that's the kingdom of heaven. The land that was prepared to us, for us. Verse 2 says, and thou shalt remember all the way which Yahawah thy power had led thee these 40 years in the wilderness. Check this out, because you went into the point where he said it was to examine us. Okay? So I'm going to continue in verse 2. It says, to humble thee and to prove thee, to know what was in thine heart, whether thou wouldest keep his commandments or no. You got it. If you want to break it down.
Gone, yeah. Read that last part again.
I'll read verse 2 again. Deuteronomy 8 and 2. And when thou shalt remember all the way which Yahawah thy power led thee these 40 years in the wilderness, to humble thee and to prove thee, to know what was in thy heart, whether thou wouldest keep his commandments or no. Yeah. And he humbled thee and suffered thee to hunger and fed thee with manna, which thou knewest not, neither did thy fathers know, that he might make thee know that man doth not live off bread alone only, but by every word that proceed out of the mouth of the Lord doeth man live. You got it. That third verse kind of hit home with it, you know.
Gone, yeah. Hey, so Most High put them in them things, man, to pretty much, to humble them and to see if they, after those things, after he put them things, them, you know what I'm saying, them situations on them, to see if they were gonna still enduring and keep going and doing what they were supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? Like the brother just read, to see if he would keep the commandments. Right? Is that what that said?
That's right. Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So the Most High is putting you in that fire and pretty much refining you to where, you know what I'm saying, you'll come out a little, you know what I'm saying, like a little stronger, if that makes any sense.
Absolutely. You look at it as the little stuff you go through in your daily. After you catch hell, are you going to go home and do a lesson? Are you going to go home and read? Are you gonna keep your integrity? You gonna go to camp? All right, or are you gonna just wither away like a lot of guys that fell out? You know, a lot of people faint within the tribulation. That's why the Lord said, "Don't faint at the tribulation, because it is your glory." You know, a lot of brothers, and Satan knows how to poke your buttons too, because he knows you better than you know yourself. And he knows that when you catch hell. All right, when you catch hell, a lot of times in your mind, if you ain't right there in your mind, which a lot of younger brothers might, both of these situations where Satan will try to nitpick and poke at them, and it'll have you thinking, am I in the spirit still? And not even just younger brothers. Hell, every last one of us, we in this wretched flesh. So there's certain thoughts that you might have, like, am I in the spirit still? And that can cause somebody to err and go off and not want to do the work no more because they feel that the Lord ain't dealing with them no more, man. But the times that you go through those things are the times that you're supposed to stay locked in, because there's something at the end of that door. That door meaning that gate, that defense mechanism that's trying to block you off from that glory. And it's something right there. The more you catching hell, the more you getting closer. But it goes in how you receive it at the other end. If you catching hell and you wimping up and complaining about it all the time to everybody and stuff, you losing the battle. But if you're taking it like a man with your loins girt, and you know it's at the other end, and you keep grinding at it, that's that glory. All right? The scriptures talk about it in 2 Ezra, the 7th chapter, a city being built full of all good things, and it's a very narrow path that only one person can go at a time. And on the left side is water, on the right side is fire. So there's death surrounded by you, and it's a little straight tightrope that you're walking on, but there's something bigger at the end of it. And that's what was explained in Deuteronomy 8. The wilderness for 40 years? Think about 40 years. It's a long time. We ain't even 40 years old. And they catching hell. A land has been promised to them. Jake was falling off, man. I don't think this place is ever going to come. The only ones that was able to make it were the ones that believed and had that spirit of faith and assurance and knowledge that the Most High was going to lead them through that. It was that process. And those things were being spoken to them as a reminder. And they just withered away. The only ones that are going to be able to receive that glory are ones that are able to endure the stuff that's going on. Because it's going to get a lot worse. You got it, Doc.
Yeah, we haven't even really gone through what the scriptures prophesied about, going into Jacob's trouble. You know what I'm saying? Right. So, man, we're going to, like this, Yahawashi said, the servant is not greater than his master. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, Yahawashi was called hell, man. Remember when, before he was about to be crucified, he prayed to the Lord and what did it say? He was bleeding, or he was sweating blood, praying to the Most High.
Yeah, he was sweating so much it was like blood. He was sweating so much it was like blood was dripping off of him.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And he asked the Most High to take that cup away from him. But the Most High, pretty much like, man, the Most High didn't respond right. So, and then Yahawashi, he had to go through it. You know what I'm saying? But hey, you know what I'm saying? Yahawashi is the ultimate example, you know what I'm saying? And we're not greater than Yahawashi. So we're going to have to catch that tribulation.
That's right,
what I'm saying? Brother. That's why, like, when I hear, what I'm saying, younger brothers talk about, even myself, talk about how, man, we're going to have to go through this. Oh, man, we're going to, the mark of the beast and all this and Jacob's trouble. And they kind of like, and you tell them, like, man, you're going to have to go through this tribulation. You might get killed. You might do this. And they kind of just say con and kind of don't really, you know what I'm saying? They take it lightly to where it's like, man, you got to really think about the stuff that's going to have to go down and what you're really about when it comes to this truth, man. Because you might be saying con and I believe and have faith. At the end of the day, you're not really considering the gravity and importance and of the things that we're going to have to go through.
That's right. Yeah, look at the guys that fell out.
Yeah. Con. Yeah, I'm saying, what I'm saying? We had people that been in this thing for 8 years, and then all of a sudden they just decide they don't want to do it no more. You know what I'm saying? We've had brothers fall out. Like brothers Shahar said, man, we've been in this thing 4 or 5 years, but we've had other brothers been longer in this thing that have fallen out. You know what I'm saying? That's why we always bring out that, or we always mention that scripture, you know what I'm saying, with David, you know what I'm saying, take not thy Holy Spirit away from me. You know what I'm saying? That's why brothers always mention about praying and things like that too. You know what I'm saying? Because like we talked about earlier, you know what I'm saying, you be in this truth and then the Most High will take that spirit away from you and then you fall out. And then, it just makes you think of, of the latter things, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, you go back in the world, then the Most High gonna deal with you. You know what I'm saying? It's a terrible thing to fall into the hands of the living power. You know what I'm saying? So after you come out of this thing, after you decide you want to go back in the world, the Most High could take you out. Either kill you or put you in some way worse. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. That's right.
Okay, I believe we're done with Judith. Oh, wait, there's another... okay, so in Judith, when you had read... talking about how the Most High hadn't taken vengeance on us. It said, it said, neither hath the Lord taken vengeance on us. You know what I'm saying? You got to think about that. You know what I'm saying? Because the Most High really, he really shouldn't, how do you say? He really shouldn't have to deal with us how he deals with us, as in this chastisement. You know what I'm saying? Right. He could really just put us to death, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm pretty sure, even myself and other brothers, whatever, have committed deaths or sins that are punishable unto death. You know what I'm saying? But the Most High is so merciful that he might just, put you in a little situation to where, you catching hell, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. But, hey, the Most High, you got to think about how the Most High could really just take you out for whatever you did back in the world.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right. He's hella fair, man. He's hella fair. And it's even certain things that you go through and you think like, damn. But you still got to think back and say, call Allah, YAHAWASHI, YAHAWASHI, man. Because you still have this word. If you don't have this word, then you really did. And you really threw, like he was talking about, like the brother was going into, man. If you don't have this word, man, you're finished. So we really need to be grateful and thankful every day that we still have this. and we catch hell and go through certain things, and we still believe and you still know these scriptures and you still pushing, man, the Spirit ain't left you, man. The Spirit ain't leave you. Now, does that mean just walk and just do whatever the hell you want without fearing the Lord? Absolutely not, man. You keep it in your mind that the Lord could deal with you the way he dealt with a lot of guys out there. Because that is the fear of the Lord. But understand this, whenever you catching hell, don't wimp out and don't just, oh, man, he ain't dealing with me no more, so I'm going to just sit back and not do nothing. No, man. That means Satan has you in his trick bag. You know?
Yeah.
Don't think that. Don't think that. This is examination. This is test. This is proving grounds, man. That's what this is. I got a quick one, real quick, bro.
God.
Just a quick one. This is Proverbs 13 and 24. And it says, he that spareth his rod hateth his son, but he that loveth him chasteneth him betimes. So if you spare the rod, that means you ain't whooping on your son when they obviously did something that they weren't supposed to do. All right, so when you catching hell, it's obviously the Lord ain't sparing the rod. He's putting that rod on your behind because of something that you did, whether it's in your past life, whether it's right now, or whether it's meant for you to go to death so you continue to glorify the Lord afterwards so you can't receive glory. At the end of the day, you deserve it, nigga. Excuse my language, I'm just saying. You deserve it, man. So take it and deal with it because it's chastisement. Talking to myself, talking to all of us. You know? Because if you ain't receiving that rod, he ain't likening you to one of his sons. Then you should be put in fear. Can't complain about both. Oh, man, the Lord whooped my ass. Oh, man, I'm not going through nothing. What's going on? Come on, man. Take it cheerfully the fact that you got them welts on your behind. You know? That was it on that one.
God, I'm going to bring this one out. Sirach chapter 2, verse 4. It says, whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient when thou art changed to a low estate. You know what I'm saying? Because when you put in those situations, you know, it's for the Most High to humble you. You know what I'm saying? So you got to take it cheerfully and be patient and know that the Most High is doing it for a reason, okay? So this is verse 5. It says, for gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. Believe in him, and he will help thee. Order thy way aright and trust in him, you know. So we read that in Wisdom of Solomon, the 3rd chapter. You know what I'm saying? Because if you keep reading down all the way to verse 10, it says, look at the generations of old, and see, did ever any trust in the Lord and was confounded? Or did any abide in his fear and was forsaken? Or whom did he ever despise that called upon him? You know what I'm saying? So, man, you could be, man, you know what I'm saying? Hey, if you trust in YAHAWASHI and you believe and you're going through these things and you understand that, man, okay, Khan, you know, and it reminds you of these scriptures and you know that the Most High, this is the Most High dealing with you. You know what I'm saying? That's wisdom. You know what I'm saying? Like when you think about, man, I shouldn't do that, man. The Most High will fuck me up if I do that shit. You know, that's fear of the Most High. That's wisdom. Understanding that there's certain things that you shouldn't do and things that you should according to the scriptures. You know what I'm saying? Because I know everybody has them thoughts. You walk in, you know, if you in this word and you believe in YAHAWASHI, anything you do, even little things like, man, I shouldn't eat that. You know, Most High, I don't know what the Most High would do if I just, you know, deliberately eat that shit. You know what I'm saying? Or if I do this or if I do that. You know, you always have them thoughts. That's why in Wisdom of Solomon, or not Wisdom, Sirach, the 4th chapter, it says that if you seek after her, talking about wisdom, you know, she'll talk with you and do all these things. You know what I'm saying? And that's what happens, man. You wake up every morning. You know, you probably think about a dream you had, or even when you brush your teeth, you think about a scripture that you read yesterday or the day before, and be like, oh, okay, kind. And you're not even really thinking about it. You know what I'm saying? It's just something that that happens in your mind. You're like, oh yeah, I read this in John the 10th chapter, talking about you know, his sheep hear his voice. Okay, yeah, it reminds me of this. And you're not really thinking that you're doing it, but it's just happening in your mind. You're just thinking about it. You know what I'm saying? And it's just you know, to show you that spirit is dealing with you. You know what I'm saying? Does that make any sense?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I got one more. The one in Psalms 39. And then if you want to bring out any more precepts,
Nah, that's all I had.
Khan, you know what I'm saying?
Psalm 39 and what? I can read it for you.
Psalms 39 and 11.
This is Psalms 39 and 11. Will thou trust in him because his strength is great? Or will thou leave thy labor to him? You want me to keep going?
Wait, that's Psalms 39 and 11?
Let me make sure. Oh, I'm in Job. Okay, my bad, bro.
Okay, Khan.
Salakia.
It's all good.
They on the comment boards. Oh, got him. This is. I'm sorry, man. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 39, verse 11. When thou art rebuked, doeth correct man for iniquity, thou makest his beauty to consume away like a moth. Surely every man is vanity, Salah.
Khan, so like if you read that, you know what I'm saying, you know, like when the Lord corrects you, you know, like if you ever seen a moth or like an ant catch on fire, you know what I'm saying, like an ant when you put the magnifying glass and it'll burn, you know what I'm saying, that, you know, it's like how your beauty of your state or body or things around you get, you know, when the Lord checks you, you know what I'm saying, like it will literally break you down and it will humble you and make you uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? So when the Most High puts you into such situations, it's like it's made to humble you and to like kind of like make you how do you say, like kind of think about like what you're doing. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Like oh shit. You know, especially if you're a man of the Lord, you're like, oh, you know, something like all of a sudden just something happens, something bad. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe maybe you break your arm or something while doing something, and then you're like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Like, fuck, you know what I'm saying? And you think about, like, man, damn, like, shit, I must have did something fucked up. But it like, you know, it humbles you and it breaks you down to where you're like, you know, like I said, like, you know, like a moth. What did it say? It says that,
It says, when thou rebukest, doeth correct man for iniquity, thou makest his beauty to consume away like a moth.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like when that, you know, you know, like that beauty, you know, like if you bought like things around you, like I was saying, it's like when the Lord, you know, when the Lord checks you, you know what I'm saying? Those things are consumed away. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Absolutely, absolutely. Pretty much when you get that rebuke, it's like, oh shoot. You know what I'm saying? Especially when it's somebody who's often rebuked, but you know they in the spirit when they telling you, like, oh snaps.
Fine.
You know? But if you're a righteous man, you're gonna take it. The scriptures say a faithful friend is a medicine of life. You're gonna receive it, especially if it's wisdom.
Right. Gone. Yeah, that's right. That's right. I think that was. Is there any more on that? I think that's it, right?
That's pretty much it.
Okay, Khan. Yeah. Have you got any more precepts?
Nah, that's it, brother.
Okay, Khan. All right. Yeah, we just wanted to, you know what I'm saying, do a video on that. You know, because really, you know, we ain't going through nothing, and there's something to think about. You know, remember our forefathers and everything that they went through, and remember everything that you going through. You know what I'm saying? So you should really think about like why the scripture says to take it cheerfully. You know what I'm saying? Because we go through hell and different situations. You know what I'm saying? And we like, fuck, damn, shit. You know what I'm saying? Because I go through that. You know.
Right.
Every day, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, fuck, you know what I'm saying? You know, anything. You know what I'm saying? Especially dealing with these people in the world and your situation, you know what I'm saying? You know, it gets to you. You know, it gets to me too, man. I'm like, damn, like, you know, sometimes I just want to sit down and just, you know, be by myself all day. You know, I don't want to deal with nothing, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, I always remember these scriptures, you know what I'm saying? Especially the one in Sirach, the 2nd chapter, you know what I'm saying? You know, take it cheerfully when the Most High, you know, pretty much puts you in them situations. You know what I'm saying? And that's something that we just wanted to talk about and to remember, you know what I'm saying? Because we ain't really gone through nothing yet. You know what I'm saying? But that's all I had. You had anything to say?
You hit it right on the nail, bro.
Gone. All right, then. Well, with that, we're going to say Shalom, HALAL, YAHAWAH, YAHAWASHI, Hashem, All right, double honors to the elders and apostles of Grand Millstone. You're teaching real well. And salutations to Akim scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, keeping his word in truth and sincerity. With that, I'm going to say shalom.
Shalom.